This weekend, it's WrestleMania 42 weekend. Today, on Talking Memphis Wrestling, I'm Randy Hills, and I have a special guest tonight. Today, we will not have a panel. This will be a very special show as we have a guest, one of my longtime friends and co-worker for many, many years is with us today, as Pat and Michael are off. Michael, of course, is in Louisville, Kentucky. Pat is at an important dinner. Adam Dunn is doing his real job in the state of Mississippi. But today's Talking Memphis Wrestling, we'll talk a lot about the Power Hour coming up on the anniversary. We'll talk about the Power Half Hour, the focus of this show today on Talking Memphis Wrestling. It'll be an interesting, informative, and exciting and good old talking wrestling right here on this show tonight on Talking Memphis Wrestling. As it's time, it is time. It is not Vader time. It is Talking Memphis Wrestling time.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
Hello again, everybody. It's ORH, it's Randy Hills, and we're right along ringside, all ready to go with another Tuesday night of Talking Memphis Wrestling. Hope everybody's doing good and want to welcome everybody in. One of the first persons that I told today that we would have a very special guest, I told Randy West in our morning text exchange, and I said, Beau James will be in the house tonight. He says, Beau knows what he's talking about. Beau knows. He said, always interesting. And Randy West watching. Dr. Robinson is here. Frank Seaton, other side of Arkansas. He's from Jonesboro, Arkansas. James Davis is here. PJ is in the house. BC from North Carolina here as we're ready to go with the big Talking Memphis Wrestling, and want to bring in for the first time in a long time. He's going to get something out of this because I'm going to talk nice about him because he gave me a lot of money. He sent me a lot of money. Just kidding, folks. Hey, Beau James, what in the hell's going on? It's good to see you here. You are live in Space City. You are live in Huntsville, Alabama. You are live on this show for the first time since you married you a Huntsville, Alabama woman. I'm thrilled. I'm tickled pink, as Corey would have said. It's a plum pleasing pleasure to welcome the King of Kingsport, my good friend, Beau James, with us today. How's that? Michael fusses at me when I put him over. Pat fusses at me when I put Michael over. Now there's nobody, no producer, no panel member, nobody. It's just me and Beau. And Beau has an ego as big as Andre the Giant or Flyboy Frazier. Beau James is thrilled to death. Beau, say hello to Team Hales.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back on here. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm coming. I am about 2 miles from the Rocket and Space Center from where I'm sitting at right now in Huntsville. Successful launch, successful mission, successful getting them back home. And my wife was a part of all of that. So I'm very proud of that and her team and everybody that worked on that to Artemis 2 and Artemis 3 is coming before too long. So it's it's a crazy time right now in Huntsville, not just all that, but all the wrestling going on that we're doing. And Randy, I'm trying to fight through sinus problems and allergy problems. Going back and forth between East Tennessee and Huntsville here has got me and Judy Lee both all messed up on the different allergies. There's allergies in East Tennessee that she doesn't have here and vice versa. And when I come down here, I get this way. When she comes up there, she gets that way. And we're trying to work it out, and hopefully it'll rain before too long to wash some of this pollen away.
All right, let me take care of a little business. Richard Hood is watching tonight. He's watching on YouTube because apparently my Twitch is not working. Shane is in the house, and he says hello to both you and me. Randy West says hello to Beau James, our first lady of Talking Memphis Wrestling. And of course, that is PJ from Thailand. She says hi to you, Beau. Say hi to PJ.
Hi, PJ.
Also want to say hello to James Siebert. There's nothing like growing up in the 80s with Memphis Wrestling. I grew up in the Evansville, Indiana end. That's, of course, watching on Channel 7. Dr. Robinson is in the house as well. So a big show. And Beau, let me tell you my day real quick. My day started 4:30, making money. Then at 7 o'clock, I had a Memphis airport trip from Jonesboro, got back, was busy. Then I had to leave again at 4:15 for a Memphis airport trip. And then I just got back in time to get on this show, get it all set, having to produce it, having to do everything. I'm having to do everything, Beau. And then in the meantime, I've got a Memphis airport ride pickup at 9:45 from Arkansas State University basketball player. So I got to do that. Don't have any help producing. That's fine. We can do it. But we're going to get right with this show because, folks, at the latest, I want to end by 8:15. Best case scenario is 8. Now, Reader's Digest version of these quick questions. I'm going to bang, bang, bang you. And bang, bang, bang quick if you can answer quick. How old were you when you first got the idea of Southern States Wrestling? How old were you? And when was the first ever Southern States Wrestling show?
16 years old. The first one was February 16th, 1991. We just celebrated 35 years.
When is your first memory, and who was it, watching wrestling on television?
All my life, my first memories of life are watching them with my granny on Highland Street in Kingsport, because my grandparents and my Aunt B, they were huge wrestling fans. And I had two cousins that worked for Nick and Roy and for Ron Fuller in Melvin Johnson and Zach Murray. So they used to point out the fact when I was a kid, that's your cousin right there on TV. And so I think that's where the sickness began, where I said I could do that too.
Very good. I want to say hello to Dennis and to Thomas and everybody. Thomas says hello to both of us, and we appreciate that. Thomas Johnson watching today, and a lot of people watching. And I know Beau always plugs me, always plugs this show. The first live event wrestling you ever went to?
October of 82, main event was Handsome Jimmy against Joe LeDuc with Sir Oliver Humperdinck for the Mid-Atlantic TV title. It was blood and guts, didn't last maybe 6 minutes. Everybody was bleeding except the referee, Stu Schwartz, and we wanted to come back and see it again.
I want some people I don't know, Beau, so you're worth your payoff tonight. Barry Frost is live from his summer residence, the legendary Beau James. Should I know Barry Frost?
Barry's been a historian and a fan for many years. Barry helps me with my podcast doing some research and helps me with the book. He sent me some stuff for one of the books that I'm working on now today that he had found of a town that we did not realize Ron Wright was running as early as he was. So that was very good that Barry found that.
We were talking about your first memories, and William Robinson's first memory was Tojo Yamamoto. And Dr. Robinson always says on this show that his dad hated that Japanese heel in Tojo Yamamoto. A lot of people do. Okay, Beau, you've been on the show many times, and we get new people coming on, and some of these people are not new to you, but new to me, and appreciate that very much. The first time you saw Memphis wrestling?
It was 1981. We started getting it in the Tri-Cities, and the first thing that I remember seeing was Lawler riding when he came back from his broken leg. And
in 1981.
Yeah, and I remember the lights going all around. I'd never seen anything like that on a wrestling program. And then a few months later, I remember seeing him ride the white horse to the ring in the match against Hulk Hogan, who I had just seen Hogan a year or so before in the Knoxville territory as Sterling Golden. So it made me pay attention. And I thought, man, this is pretty cool.
It's more than pretty cool. It is real cool. I think, as I'm thinking of where I want to start, Beau, and there's so much we want to cover in a short period of time. I think without you setting it up, and we'll get the background of how this has happened, as Beau and I are both territory days, and there is hope for territories. And Beau, as we've said the last few weeks, he has expanded his Southern States Wrestling to Northern Alabama. And Beau's going to talk in detail about it. There is a opening that he sent me of his premiere show on the Northern Alabama Inn that just premiered the other night, just a couple of nights ago. And it's a great video, just great production. It's 1:57. I think that will speak, and it'll take everybody watching here today back to yesterday. And also, it gives you an idea what tomorrow can be. Territories is not dead. And where it'll pop, I really honestly dream and pray and think it will pop. It will start in North Alabama. And as somebody's been around wrestling for a long time, it's going to have an impact in careers, a mix of everything. I'm excited about it. Beau worked hard, and the TV station worked hard for this great opening, as it's 1:57 in length, and we'll watch now.
Northern Alabama, a land defined by the heights of the Space and Rocket Center and the depths of its natural beauty. From its rushing waterfalls to the legendary fishing waters of its Great Lakes. This is the home of the Muscle Shoals Sound and Fame Recording Studios. But there is another rhythm that beats in the heart of the Tennessee Valley. The thunder of the ring. Northern Alabama is rich with professional wrestling history. Every legend of the era has stepped foot in Huntsville. From the Goulas Welch Nashville office to live studio wrestling, and the legendary wars at the old Madison County Coliseum. The titans of the industry, the stars of WWE, WCW, and TNA have all left their mark on these grounds. And now, the next chapter is being written. Southern States Wrestling has arrived in Alabama as one of the oldest and most respected promotions in the nation. We are proud to call Northern Alabama our new home. Buckle up. The Power Half Hour starts now!
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Folks, if your blood's not pumping, if you're not fired up, if you're not shaking around in your chair, you're not a wrestling fan. If you don't like this show today, you're not a wrestling fan. If you don't like this interview today with Beau James, you're not a wrestling fan. Now, Beau, how much work was that done on that opening? And how long did it take you? Because I know how you are. And Pat Rose watching today, I'm going to try. Again, folks, I'm producing, I'm hitting the buttons, and I'm hosting this show. And Pat loved this. Randy West says a great promo. Dennis Mitchell says, what an intro. So, Beau James, I set you up. So, walk me through Reader's Digest Virgin. I got to say that to Beau.
Yeah,
This is the 8-hour show, and I don't have the time. How did this come about?
I wanted something to grab people right away, you know, just to get their attention and get them. And Randy, that was kind of inspired by the opening program of Power Pro Wrestling in '98 when you showed the city and the history and the different things, and you know it's back and here it is. And so I started looking and asking my wife, what's Northern Alabama famous for other than music and rockets? And she's like, oh, the waterfalls, the river, the lake, you know, all. So then I had to get the stock footage. I had to put it together. That's about 7 or 8 hours of work right there for that.
It's fantastic. And you brought it up. Beau, let's reference what you were talking about where that gave you the germ of the idea. Let's go back to the Power Pro Wrestling Open on the debut show on April the 18th, 98. So how long, Beau, you got your calculator? I'm thinking any way you look at it, that coming up in just a few days. What is that, Beau? That's been a long time ago.
28 years ago.
28 years ago, as we watch right now, we won't do that full screen, but we'll watch the first time we went on the air on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock on April the 18th, 1998 on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Tennessee, known worldwide for the beautiful sights of the Mississippi River, for being known as the birthplace of the blues and Beale Street.
Beau, that didn't work. So now, again, I will try something else right now as I think it started playing fine on my computer.
I could hear it. I just couldn't see it.
For sure. And now that is going to be a minute before this uploads for us, Beau, but just go ahead and talk about the process.
Well, the hardest thing was I wanted to make sure I showed wrestling from Huntsville. And luckily, years of trading tapes and saving stuff I had 2 matches from the Madison County Coliseum where Nick Goulas ran every Friday night for decades. I had that match there, which was the Fields brothers against Rick Sanchez in the Scorpion, and then I had a match with George Goulas and Tojo Yamamoto against Dutch Mantell and I think Don Kent. So I looked to see which one was the best quality and which one had maybe the best high spot, and that one of the Fields against Sanchez and Scorpion was just a wild fight all over the building, our kind of wrestling. So I used the clips from that. I was able to find a clip of Tojo and Nick from the Chattanooga show, but it showed in Huntsville after the Huntsville studio show went away, so people would be familiar with that. And I made sure when I showed our history to show Lawler, Fuller, Golden, Bobby Eaton right away, because that's the people that they would most recognize here in northern Alabama from years and years of history of here. And that's, Bobby's hometown right here. So I wanted to make sure I got everybody's attention in showing that. And we got Saturday night, we debuted 9:30. We're on the local CW, Northern Alabama CW, that's on all the cable stations, satellite stations, plus you can watch it over the air in Northern Alabama on 15.1 or 19.2. They're on both stations there. It's the highest powered station out of Huntsville, and we got a lot of new follows on social media Saturday night between that, because I was driving back from a town and I kept looking at the phone to see how many people were liking what we were doing. And so people were watching and people liked it because we got a lot of follows. It is on YouTube, the first one, without the local commercials. I did not have the local commercials to drop in, but the program is on the Southern States Wrestling YouTube, so you can watch it there. We will drop it probably Monday or Tuesday. After it airs on Saturday, we'll put it on the YouTube Monday or Tuesday going forward, because they have it on the station's app. We got to go through all the channels because it's a partnership with the station. We've got to keep them happy to get their viewers and all their stuff. But you will be able to watch it on YouTube after it airs on everything that they have.
Okay, we are going to go back and comparatively and go to, see if I get it right now, April the 18th, 1998, and we'll see if this works.
Tennessee, known worldwide for the beautiful sights of the Mississippi River, for being known as the birthplace of the blues and Beale Street, and for being the home of the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. For 50 years, Memphis has been the professional wrestling capital of the world. And now, it's with great pleasure that we welcome you to the very first edition of TV5 Power Pro Wrestling.
Oh, my goodness! Oh, yeah! Hello, everybody. Dave Brown with Corey Macklin. We are live in the studios of WMC TV5 with Power Pro Wrestling, and it's underway. Oh, right now! Corey, great action lined up for Power Pro Wrestling's inaugural event here today. Oh, my goodness, Brother Dave. Let me tell you, if you have not called a...
All right, and that's how we did it. Now, I want to get to some of the comments real quick before we get Beau to respond, and I have a question that's in a minute. Oh, so James says, Randy, do you remember Harry Thornton and Sterling Brewer? Certainly, I do remember Harry from Chattanooga. Sterling Brewer, I've seen some of the video. I've heard Pat and Michael and a lot of people talk about them, but certainly I've heard of both names for sure. Here's a question that Beau can help me announce, because TV stations are a lot different than they used to be. Yeah. And the main reason that Power Pro is not on Memphis Studio Wrestling, it wasn't because of ratings, it wasn't anything else. It was because wrestling studio became no more because everything was put into news and the wrestling studio went away. As Shane says, I know wrestling is all about the money, but do you think we will ever have a studio show again in a major situation in a major market like a Memphis? I don't think we will see that again. Some of the smaller markets, maybe, but smaller markets, most of the time, don't have a studio that you can do it. So I would not be absolutely shocked. And I think there's nothing better than studio wrestling, nothing better. But people's brainwashed to think you have to have 15,000 people in pyros.
Right.
Bo, do you think there will be a studio show again from a TV studio?
There almost was in Huntsville at Channel 15 here. Just that was the original plan when I went and talked to the station, and I took them some pictures of Lynn Rossi and some people here in Huntsville, Nick, and all that, and because they want a Northern Alabama specific show, that's what it's going to become. Right now, we're showing tapes from East Tennessee to introduce everybody, but it's going to become a specific Northern Alabama, Tennessee Valley show. And they was talks for a little bit, and then they came back and they said it was like you said, the news. We have so much equipment, so much stuff. We could to move it in and out every week or once a month. It just is not. It's not doable. But they want us. We're looking at places where we're going to tape here in Huntsville, and they suggested a couple of places, and we went there. And either the ceiling wasn't high enough, or just not enough room to do it. But they were all about having a studio or studio like show for this Saturday night wrestling program, the Power Half Hour. It's just not worked out yet, but we May 23rd will be our first taping in Northern Alabama. I'll be letting that out of the bag once the contract's signed, but I'm going tomorrow to look at a building that we can put a studio in. We can pipe and curtain and make it look like a TV studio, and that's the plan moving forward. It may not work. It may work. We don't know till we go look at everything. So there's still a lot of what ifs, what we're doing.
Now, let me ask you this. Is it a situation where you could possibly, because we're doing a live broadcast right now, so
Yeah.
television has evolved so much over the years. It's a possibility that you will be able to go live, or will it be where you take 4 shows at a time, the old school way of doing it?
There is a possibility to go live. That was the first thing that they wanted when I went and talked to them, was they wanted a live weekly Saturday night show. And I said, well, the problem with that is the talent is booked all over the place on Saturday nights. So we'd have maybe a Saturday morning, maybe this or that. So we're still playing around with everything. We have a great time slot because the local news is our lead in, and they are the news station here in this market. And they are the earliest news broadcast on the weekend at 9 o'clock. So we come on right out of that news, and they end the news on Saturday night with stay tuned for the Power Half Hour right here. So, it's a partnership in everything that we're doing with them. They have so many minutes. We have so many minutes. They run commercials during NXT. I saw them here today during some judge show that was on. Michael told me last week that he saw it on the CBS, because they own the CBS channel too here in the market, that he's seen it on the CBS channel. So they're behind it. And Randy, all of this started because I kept driving down here, and I'd go through these little spot shows and go, why is nobody running here? There's no wrestling here. It's so weird. There's a few people that do wrestling here, but they all fight over the same towns, and they don't run them regular. They're running them as spot shows. And I said, there's some promise here if you ran Huntsville monthly, and then maybe another town monthly, and then 2 or 3 spot shows, a month outside of that. And so I just started laying out the idea. I was coming back from Memphis when I was in Memphis in February, and I saw the Fox station on the expressway out here, and I told my wife I'm going there tomorrow to talk to them. So I went to the Fox station, talked to them, and I had a deal there within 20 minutes after I walked in and talked to them. And when I left, my wife said, "Hey, I know people at the CBS and CW at 19, and that's the big station." And she texted them, and they said, "Don't sign anything till you come talk to us." So we went the next day and met with them, had some advice from Michael St. John because he knows this market better than anybody. And he said, if you can get something with 19, that's where Nick was at. That's where wrestling was at. That's where WWE was on for years. That's, that's the station everybody realizes wrestling came from. So went and met with them, and they said, "Can you come back later today?" Because I met with them at like 10:30 in the morning. I was like, "Yeah." And I went and had lunch with Michael, came back, and they laid it out what they wanted. Can we do this? Can we do that? They looked us up. They did the research, and we started that day right there working to what went on the air this past Saturday night at 9:30.
So the hard work came through, and just a couple of things. Dr. Robinson says the Alabama Gulf Coast could be either a spot show or regular rotation. Also, the Jobber Chronicle, and we have people coming in and out, Beau, so you will maybe have to repeat yourself, and you're fixing to right now because you've already dealt with this wrong once before. Beau, he says, will the show be available online out of your market?
Yes, it'll be on YouTube probably Tuesday nights after it airs, because the station has first online, first broadcast, first everything. So it'll broadcast Saturday night over the air through cable satellite over the air. Sunday, they put it on their app, and you can watch it on demand on the app. And then we got to let them get through there to get their advertising dollars, and then we do it. We'll put it up Tuesday. They let me put it up Sunday this week to get a buzz. But Monday or Tuesday, it'll be on the Southern States Wrestling YouTube.
Don't get heat at all. Now I'm going to jump around here on the thing, and I want to answer questions. As Lucian said, why was that Lance Russell on Power Pro Wrestling? Real simple. Lance was not living in Memphis at the time. He and his wife retired and moved to Shane in Pensacola, Florida. So he was not around. So he wasn't around for any Power Pro shows. And I appreciate the fact that Richard said, love the Power Pro Open. And Richard also says he misses studio wrestling. Beau, help me with this question. I don't really understand it. James Davis says, was Memphis wrestling on TV before Mid-South? If he's asking, certainly Mid-South was involved in Oklahoma and then later Louisiana. Mid-South Wrestling with Bill Watts. It was called Tri-State Wrestling before that. Leroy McJerk Championship Wrestling. Memphis Wrestling went on television initially, Channel 5, for a couple of months in the late 50s, Beau, and then quickly switched to Channel 13. But are you comfortable with the way I answer that question?
Yeah. That was what was there. I plugged this to go back in Randy's archives, and they did a special. You guys did one on WMC and TV5 and TV13, explained. And Adam had all the dates and when wrestling started and all that, so every question will be answered if you can find that one.
Yeah, we don't mind answering questions 100 times. As new people come in, we appreciate it. This is Talking Memphis Wrestling. I'm Randy Hales, Memphis Wrestling, the owner, founder, and president of Power Pro Wrestling. Thrilled to be joined by my good friend Beau James. Pat Crammell not here today. Neither is producer Adam Dunn or the great Michael St. John. How far is Michael St. John's house, Beau, from your house?
30 minutes, maybe.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, pretty close.
How about the radio station?
Radio station probably about 45. Because because it's right downtown there. Because I'm not exactly sure where Michael lives. He's told me, but my wife knew where it was at, and she said, yeah, he's within 30 minutes of us. I'm still learning the landscape here. I do know where, like, Gurley and New Hope and, all these little spot shows are at, because I've been riding the back roads booking these spot shows.
All right, just I'm gonna put off some things up, and we'll talk about it. Reader's Digest version. What are we looking at now, Beau?
May 1st, Friday night, May 1st, Mount Carmel, Tennessee, which is just 1 mile west of Kingsport on 11W, 399 Highway 11W, Armed Forces Reserve Center, Southern States Wrestling Spring Spectacular. And we're going to have a big event there that night, and we will tape interviews and stuff for Alabama, but all the matches that will be shot have already been shot for Alabama that will come from East Tennessee. But we've got a few wraparounds and stuff, but we're going to have a big card there that night. We run Mount Carmel every month, except we were supposed to be there April 24th, but the Army needed the building that week, so they moved us to May 1st. But that's our regular home. It's a great building. We tape Legacy there. We've taped some stuff there. We do our house shows there. And some of the people you see on the Legacy program will be in Alabama. Some of them will not. We're going to keep it kind of like Ron Fuller did with the Northern and the Southern division of the two territories, because I'm going to bring some guys up to Huntsville and girls from the Gulf Coast, from Scott Armstrong's. I've been down there to look at them and watch and see how they do everything at Diamond Championship Wrestling, and they got a great product. They got a great bunch of kids, and I'm going to give some of them some opportunities there. And then I've got a few coming from the Memphis area. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet, but I got a couple coming over here that we're going to be using. So a little mixture of everywhere for Northern Alabama.
Explain the geography. Explain this.
So every county that you see on there, even the ones in green, parts of that county can get the TV over the air, 15.1, 19.2. If you have antenna, you can reach all of that. The red counties are the bigger cities. That's where Huntsville, Decatur, and all that's right there in that area. That is our host. Let me think. That is where it's licensed to. That's the home base of the station. They have a term for it, and I can't think of it. But then the blue counties all are on cable and satellite also. So it's saturated in the red, it's saturated in the blue, it's spotty in the green, but altogether, if I counted that right, that's 24 counties, 11 of them saturated that we are in. And if anybody watching lives in any of those counties and watches the program, let me know. And if anybody in there is a part of a nonprofit organization that needs a fundraiser, get a hold of me and I'll give you all the information. And if anybody in there owns a business they would like to advertise during the wrestling program, get a hold of me. I will put you in touch with the young lady that does our sales.
Shane says, and this, again, I got a Memphis trip. So we need everything to be Reader's Digest version, but we need to also tell the story what's going on. Shane says, Beau, and this is a hell of a question. What makes your promotion different than any other wrestling show today? Reader's Digest version, because you could talk for 4 hours on this. And I'm not going to let you.
Yeah, I could. Modern matches, old-time booking, young, hungry kids. I got a kid, Chase Emery, who was our champion, who just this year has went to Japan, England, and Ireland. I have a kid that has helped train Jelly Roll for his WWE stuff. I have people doing extra work for the bigger promotions. There's a learning process here that separates us from everybody else. We have agents. We have hard outs, time cues, how to work the cameras. They learn how to do television here, and they learn how to get opportunities and how to do business. And I've got several kids that have got a lot of big opportunities coming up, including one of them being my wife that's coming up very soon. And we've had Steve Carino on our program not long ago, just putting me over the promotion over, and he is one of the head trainers at the Performance Center. And the WWE let him do that little spot in the PC at ringside on the NXT stage. So we've got good connections, but we do old time booking, modern matches. You will see the little vignettes and stuff because, folks, it's 2026. And what our goal for this is syndication. And that's what we're working on. So we have to have a product that a young millennial person in charge of a TV station will look at and go, oh, that's kind of like, what I see on this.
But it's local.
Right. And but my booking, Scott's thought process, and the kids that work with me collaborating and giving me ideas that I can take and use. It's a modern product with old time wrestling booking.
Dennis Mitchell, good comment, Dennis. Appreciate you watching Beau on Talking Memphis Wrestling tonight. Huntsville is growing, especially since it's the largest in Alabama. And Beau, do you know Joe Hunk? Thank you.
I do not know Joe. Yes, Huntsville now is the largest city in the state of Alabama. It is, Randy. It looks like Nashville. Everywhere time I go downtown, there's cranes here, there. I stayed here for a week a few years ago working for TNA and promoted and did all that for an event they did at the Von Braun Center. When I started coming back down here last year, I couldn't believe how much the town had changed in just a few years. And,
first of all, it's not a town.
Right. It's a city. It's a city. Yeah, it is a major city. And a lot of business growth here, a lot of stuff here. And the strategy was putting it here and putting a TV show here because we want syndication. And I have had this opening line for a long time, Randy, and I think you will love this. Coming to you live from Rocket City, USA.
Right.
And I think that is a selling point that will help us in what we're working on.
Certainly I do too. Beau, I kind of know the answer to this question, but I love this graphic and I love this. What made you decide, this is me asking, what made you decide to call this SSW, the Power Half Hour? I think you owe me some money. That's plagiarism.
I have used it. We had a version of the Power Half Hour on in the Tri-Cities for 5 years or 6 years. I loved, when I worked for you in Memphis, I loved that Power Hour. I loved that. And and our goal here, Randy, is to be up to a Power Hour maybe within a year. They wanted an hour to start with, and I said, hold on. I would rather have 30 minutes that's exciting and packed than an hour that drags.
Right.
And I'm still working with young kids that are still learning TV and everything else. I have a great production. All the production people that work behind my nephew Jake is there. Brian Logan's there, old-time wrestling guy that broke in with me. Scott Sterling broke in with me. We're doing it. Joe Wheeler's there doing it. My wife is learning all the different stuff. And Waylon is sitting right there beside us as we're doing everything, learning it too. My cousin KC has come back on to be an assistant producer with the headsets for me. Because you know how it is. I've got so much going on between the monitor, the dressing room, and everything. But this is a place. It's a small enough place that we can take young guys and girls and mold them. But we're close enough to big time where they get a taste of how it works. And it's also a place that we can give connections to say, hey, here's how you get looked at, or here's how you get seen. And that's my whole purpose now is to give back. Randy, I'm in the opening. There's one thing of me throwing fire in the opening of the program, and there's one punch I throw. I've not been on camera. I won't be on camera for the first 8 weeks of the program. I'm commentating, but the focus is on our young talent.
Right.
I may have to drop in and do a wraparound at some point in that 8 weeks, but my focus, it's not on me, it's on the talent. And it's my way of giving back because I live my dreams and I've got to do everything I wanted to do and work with everybody I wanted to. And I love this fact. I love like when kids call me and say, hey, I got a WWE extra spot. Hey, I'm going to Japan. Hey, I got to change a date with you because I'm going to Ireland. That excites me to know that I'm helping these kids get seen all over the world.
Hey, Reader's Digest version. How the hell did you make this happen and introduce this lovely young lady to Talking Memphis Wrestling?
So during the pandemic, my life fell apart. Divorce. My mother dies. My best friend dies. I mean, I almost died myself from heart issue caused by the stress. For 5 years, I'm miserable. This beautiful, wonderful young lady comes to Dr. Tom's wrestling school to train to be a wrestler. And I'm not sure what it was, but within like 2 or 3 days of her being at that school, Tom starts calling me saying, hey, you need to come down here and meet this girl. And I'm like, yeah, forget that. It ain't going to happen. So this goes on while she's training at Tom's. Tom's trying to get us to meet. So I sell a show to a fair and they want lady wrestlers. So I called Tom and I said, hey, can this girl wrestle? He goes, yes, she's athletic. She's, green, but she's learning. I said, tell her to find me on Facebook if she's interested in doing this date, blah, blah, blah. She sends me a message. We talk back and forth, all business. Here's what I'll pay you. Here's when the date is. Be here at this time, blah, blah, blah. Thank you. Okay, go on. But I'm still hearing about her from the school and from Tom and this and that. And then she gets to the fair and I meet her for the first time. And it was love at first sight on both sides. And the next day I typed out a text like 3 different times and erased it because I was like, I'm not going to message her. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. And finally she messages me and says, hey, we need to know each other better, I think. And we started talking and then we started sneaking away from the business because we didn't want anybody in the business to know. I kayfabed Randy out there for anybody. Randy didn't know until I was married. The only people, Jake knew, Waylon knew, my dad knew, and a couple of the boys that rode with me regular knew. And I told them, if you guys tell anybody, I'll kill both of you to make sure I get the right one. So it was a shock when we got married and people lost their minds because they're like, we didn't even know they knew each other and all that stuff. And I can honestly say this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. And, I'm so proud of her learning the business. And she's like us, Randy, learn every job. You always have a job. She works her day job she is an engineer for NASA. That's why we're in Huntsville. People are like, is she ever going? I said, she's not leaving that job at NASA to move to Fall Branch. I will go back and forth. She will go back and forth. We both have responsibilities and families, and it's only a 4-hour trip, and we're road warriors, so it doesn't matter for us to go back and forth. And but she's ate up with the wrestling sickness, but she's learning promotion. She's learning sales. She's learning how to work, how to run towns, and the big point was, and you knowing me, you know this. It was a few weeks before she got to meet Waylon. And Waylon was the measuring stick. If Waylon would have said to me, I don't like her, that would have been done. 2 hours after he meets her for the first time, Waylon says, Uncle Beau, make her your girlfriend. He said, I love her. I said, well, that's what we're working on.
I'm glad for sure. We'll wrap ourselves back around this question, but you set me up with where I wanted to go next, because Waylon, of course, for those of you that's just seeing Beau, and there's a lot of new time people watching this, Beau is referring to his young nephew, Waylon. Waylon is going to be a star one of these days. This week, as we did the voice over to open up, is WrestleMania weekend. That's a graphic that is wrong, as I just realized that, and I will take it off. It will be this weekend. It will be from Las Vegas, Nevada, and the main event of night number one is Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, a match I wanted to see. It's another story of whether I think or anybody else thinks has been a great build, and as they screwed it up, but we will see. Looking forward to the entire WrestleMania card, and of course, main event of night number two is Roman and CM Punk. A lot of other matches these two nights, and where this gets me to go in here is the pulse of the children. The pulse of the children is what influenced parents to buy the pay-per-view, buy the ticket. We all know it. We all know it. So what is Whalen looking forward to? Whalen looking forward to on this card, Beau?
He likes Randy Orton, and he really likes Cody Rhodes, and he has been invested in that. He is a bigger Cody fan than he is a Randy Orton fan, so he's looking for Cody to win. He is a Roman Reigns guy. So he wants Roman Reigns to beat CM Punk, and we will be off the road and be home to watch it with him. He's very excited about that because the last 2 years I've had to wrestle on at least one night of WrestleMania and watch it back later with him. So we're getting to watch it live. And I've told the story, and as you was talking about, I fell in love with the wrestling business all over again during the pandemic, with Waylon and my little niece Aubrey watching wrestling, and they were falling in love with it for the first time. And me watching them made me go, okay, maybe this modern product, and I need to start paying attention. And I found stuff that I like, and now I'm able to use it. But yeah, that's it. I'm trying to think, there was another match that Waylon was real excited about, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. Trick Williams.
Yeah.
Waylon loves Trick Williams. Loves him, and has followed him on NXT and everything. And I should have sent you this picture, Randy. I will post this picture on my social media. Again, we were invited to NXT. Steve Corino and I have been friends for many, many years. And I went and met with Steve and saw it, watched, and, but Trick Williams was there. And Waylon got to meet Trick Williams. And I will say this about Trick Williams. Other than Handsome Jimmy and Bobby Eaton, he may be the nicest man I have ever met in the wrestling business.
Nice guy. Absolutely nice.
And he got down in the floor and played with Waylon after his match and talked to Waylon. And so Waylon already was a Trick fan, but that made him that's his guy now. And so he told me the other day when I picked him up from school, he said, Uncle Beau, Trick is on WrestleMania, because he was asking me leading up with Trick, and I said, "Oh no, he just got there. He may not be on the big one, but he's excited to watch that, and I'm looking forward to watching Waylon watch that."
Richard Hood says, Randy and Beau, is your opinion, what was the best venue for pro wrestling? I can tell you my favorite: Louisville Gardens, Muhammad Ali Boulevard in Louisville, Kentucky. Great venue. The classic Mid-South Coliseum, the classic WMC TV5 studio. Also, I'd have to throw in the classic old American Legion Arena on Washington, where it all started for me. Beau, Reader's Digest, your opinion, what's the best venue for pro wrestling?
I love Louisville Gardens too. I love that building. I love the Knoxville Coliseum. I love the Boutwell in Birmingham. The old rec center in Johnson City, which was the Tuesday night town for the Knoxville territory, may be one of the most classic buildings of all time. No air conditioning. I don't even know if it had heat in it. Hot as could be in the summertime, but would be jam-packed and just so much excitement and everything there. I love that place. But to me, because I saw it on television as a little boy. And I watched and saw clips from it every week and said, I want to wrestle there. And I got to wrestle there thanks to Randy Hales. The Mid-South Coliseum is the greatest wrestling arena of all time.
Yeah, Beau, let me do something real quick. Okay. All right. Talking Memphis Wrestling, as we will, I think we'll do this because we've had people, Beau, join the show since the beginning of the show, and what we're talking about is the recent, certainly the recent great, fantastic premiere of your great show, the Power Half Hour, that premiered this past Saturday. A history piece, a great open, and we are going to watch this one more time.
Northern Alabama. A land defined by the heights of the Space and Rocket Center and the depths of its natural beauty. From its rushing waterfalls to the legendary fishing waters of its Great Lakes. This is the home of the Muscle Shoals Sound and Fame Recording Studios. But there is another rhythm that beats in the heart of the Tennessee Valley. The thunder of the ring. Northern Alabama is rich with professional wrestling history. Every legend of the era has stepped foot in Huntsville. From the Gulas Welch Nashville office to live studio wrestling, and the legendary wars at the old Madison County Coliseum. The titans of the industry, the stars of WWE, WCW, and TNA have all left their mark on these grounds. And now, the next chapter is being written. Southern States Wrestling has arrived in Alabama as one of the oldest and most respected promotions in the nation. We are proud to call Northern Alabama our new home. Buckle up. The Power Half Hour starts now!
Absolutely wonderful job. Now, I want to ask you, first of all, I'll go to James. He says, how was Evansville, Indiana for a wrestling venue? That was probably the least attended of any of the regular venues in the Memphis territory. I like Evansville.
That was a cool building. And the fact it had that prison down in the bottom of it, that jail, that was pretty cool. Scary, but pretty cool.
Yeah, we both like pretty scary stuff and pretty cool stuff as well, for sure. Just we've covered a lot of stuff on Talking Memphis Wrestling as we talk about this. And the question that came to mind, because what I did with Power Pro, and remember this is 1998, so Jerry Lawler was still available, Bill Dundee still available to wrestle both guys alive. So what I did, had the Young Gun division, which you were part of, and Derek King and Blade and Lance Jade and so many people. So we wanted to modernize wrestling with the special tribute. Now, this is 28 years after that. And so in Huntsville, help me out, Beau, did Huntsville ever become a Ron Fuller town?
After, but I'm trying to think, after November of 80, when he bought Nick out. But he already had Birmingham, Montgomery, Pensacola, where's the farm center? Oh gosh, Dothan. He already had so many towns that Huntsville kind of got left behind, he would run it, but he didn't run it weekly like he did all the other towns. He would run it as a spot show, more or less, or maybe once a month. But it was not a weekly town like it had been for Nick. And I don't think he did as well here, probably for the fact that it was not weekly. But he also ran Florence, not far from here, off of the Huntsville TV. Now, he did well in Florence, Alabama. But Huntsville was just, I think that people were kind of mad that they were left behind and not getting a weekly card.
Right, and I understand that for sure. And my point was that I integrated and mixed in with the crew, the legends, to the new people, and now this is 28 years later. So the guys certainly that was seen by Nick Goulas Wrestling, a lot of those have passed away. Yeah. So will this be strictly young talent, or is there a legend or two maybe from Scott Armstrong's promotion, Brian James, or I'm not trying to book this for you, but yeah. Is there any people around the area that you can come in for a big debut show, house show type of thing, that has history in the market or history in wrestling?
We talked to Scott about coming up. We've talked about Dr. Tom. They will not be wrestling. They will only be appearing. This is a young, modern product with young kids in the ring. We're going to debut in Huntsville in June. I've already got the date and everything locked down, but I'm waiting to announce that because the TV station is going to announce it. But yes, we will bring legends in to make appearances, but do not expect them to be in the ring. And, people say, well, why not? Well, because they're all 16, 17, 80 years old.
Right. We lost Beau real quick, and now we'll put you right back on here. So I think that is smart for sure, no doubt about it. Now, as we're getting toward the end of our time, Beau, and I didn't make any graphics, and so tell everybody what your YouTube channel is.
Just type in Southern States Wrestling on YouTube, and it'll come right up there. We have the Legacy. We're almost to 150 episodes of Legacy, and then right underneath that is the Northern Alabama Power Half Hour. You'll be able to follow that every week. Plus, we have classic matches and classic TV episodes and a lot of other great content on there, and it's all free, so just check it out. Make sure you hit like and subscribe.
Beau, you went away again. As just a second, I'm trying to type something in right now. Southern State Wrestling on YouTube, and we'll put that up there right now. And so we will go back, and Beau can give you email address and other information. Certainly, Beau, if we can do that. So Southern States Wrestling on YouTube, and just be sure to do that. And
Facebook is Southern States Wrestling. Instagram and X is SSW, then wrestling spelled out, and the number 1, SSW Wrestling 1 on Instagram and X. And if you would like to bring us to a town as a fundraiser, Southern States Wrestling at gmail.com. And if you own a business and would like to advertise during the Power Half Hour, you can reach out to the social media or Southern States Wrestling at gmail.com, and we will help you get in touch with the lady that is in charge of the sales. So we're more than happy to help you, and we like to hear the feedback. We got some stuff the last couple of days, and people are enjoying what we're doing. And we have a guy in England who does a podcast recapping us every week. He's been
Right.
watching this for a couple of years, and he messaged me last night, and he said, "Hey, I just saw that the Alabama show's on. I'm gonna start covering that too." So we have people watching us. My kid that went overseas and wrestled in Japan and the UK and everything told me people that came up to him there and said, "Hey, we've seen you on YouTube. We watch." So it's wild how this is opened the world up, streaming and everything else, but nothing beats that local TV station, because if you're just flipping through and somebody catches you, oh, I got to start watching this. Nobody really finds you by mistake on social media. You know, they got to know where you're at, or somebody's got to just keep sharing it. But that TV station, they can find you by flipping around. And there's so many stations now with all these digital channels and everything, and they all need programming 24/7. They all need programming, and it's changed the landscape of what we're doing.
All right. We've gone with not the power half hour, the power hour today, a few minutes later. And every week on Talking Memphis Wrestling, we do a last take. So last take time for Beau James as we wrap up the show today. And we appreciate a wonderful, huge group of people watching the show today. Last take, Beau.
Just thanks for having me on. I hope people check out what we're doing. I hope people enjoy what we're doing. Somebody on there said wanting to see us back in the Gulf Coast. Judy Lee will be wrestling for Scott Armstrong at Diamond Championship Wrestling on the 24th of April, Friday the 24th, in Theodore at the Bullet Bob Armstrong Memorial Arena. So check that out if you live in the area, and I may just be with her when we come back down there. So really enjoyed being on here. Great questions. Saw a couple of smart asses on there, but hey, we get that everywhere we go. As the Junkyard Dog used to say, they don't talk about nobodies.
Would knowing me, how much money would you bet on the fact, and you hadn't seen that one guy's comment in a while, how much money would you bet on the fact ORH blocked his ass?
Yeah, I saw it. I knew what was going on.
That's why I accidentally got you off the thing, because I was freaking mad and paying attention for that for sure. Reese says, great show today. Well, Beau, this is a lot of fun, and promise me this, whether it's a month from now or 2 months from now, I wasn't going to do this on the spot. And I know there's, for women, there's prep time, and I had in the back of my mind, because there was one time the booker in me thinking, man, we need to run in from Judy Taylor. We need it right now. Would you come back in a few weeks and bring Judy with you?
Yeah, she is actually in a NASA meeting right now, or she would have come in tonight. So she's in the other room handling some business. But yeah, I will get her on here before too long, Randy.
So she hadn't been in there coaching every word you said?
No, she tells me, because she does a lot of podcasts, a lot of them she don't, but she's done a lot, because she'll go and watch and listen to see before she agrees to do it. But she's like, 30 minutes in, I run out of stuff to talk about, and she's like, I said, this has been my whole life. I can talk wrestling all day. I said, the problem is the stuff that people want to talk to you about, it's national security secrets. You can't talk about it. So.
Right, absolutely. Here's a question. Here's a comment. I didn't mean to put that in. And another thing, but this probably means a lot to you. The greatest wrestling producer that Memphis ever had, the great Randy West, says, good luck with your new promotion, Beau. It's obviously not a new promotion. Beau has run that since the 90s. However, it's the biggest step he's ever made, and it's so excited. I think you can tell I'm excited today, Beau, and I'm sure I wanted to get
a lot of stuff that I've produced, vignettes, videos, all that stuff is all came from here, from stuff that I've seen Randy produce, from the Jarrett's backyard to the arenas to, wherever else. And, everything that I do has a Memphis thumbprint on it.
Beau, this has been great. I'm headed to Memphis tonight to make some money. I'll be out about 4:20 tomorrow morning making some money because this old school rocker and roller, this road warrior, just like you, we're always on the road, Beau. We're always trying to make some money and have some fun and make some memories, right?
Yep. I'll let you know what Waylon thinks of WrestleMania this weekend too.
I'll be watching it too. Tell Waylon, go Cody, go Roman, and go Talking Memphis Wrestling. Good luck to you, Beau. And one of these days I'll come down and check out one of those. I have some friends living in Huntsville, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Michael St. John.
Yeah. Yep. It's and this is a town that everybody is moving to.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for being on the show, Beau. I hope you were happy the way it turned out tonight.
Yep.
I know you don't feel too well, but you're an old-time shooter, old-time road warrior. Nobody could tell you were sick at all, and now you need to go throw up.
Yes. Take some meds. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Beau. For Randy Hale, I am Randy Hales. I'm so excited I can't even talk. For Beau James, Randy Hales, and for you, smart Alec. Should I flip them off? I probably shouldn't, right?
Yeah, I'll give it to him for the comment.
All right. That made my day. Good night, everybody. For Beau.
Good night, everybody.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.